record on this computer, and I'm going to take us out to Photoshop. So the program that we are going to use here is Photoshop. So I'm going to start that up. And we are going to make our project here. I'm going to say create new. And the parameters for your project is we're going to make these postcard size. So over here, you'll see some choices here. There's print or recent or whatever on here. Just over here on the left, I'm sorry, I'm on the right. I'm going to make the width of this postcard 6 inches. And I'm going to make the height of this postcard 4 inches. So that's where I'm going to start. So then when we print those out, it's sort of a standard postcard size. The resolution of my postcard is 300 pixels per inch. And right now the background color by default is white, but it doesn't really matter because our photograph is going to be the background of our picture, so white is fine. So I'm going to hit create. And I've got myself a postcard just like that. And again, I can use my 2 fingers here to pinch in and out so I can see the whole postcard or I can see part of it. I'll tell you, I was practicing with this yesterday, and it is frustrating. So just go slow. The reason it's frustrating is because Photoshop on the computer is just so much easier to use. And here, like your window space on your iPad is so little, and there's so little real estate to actually work in. So know that you can hide your layers here on the side with this little second down button here if you need a little bit more space when you're actually working. But whenever you activate the text layer, it suddenly takes up a whole bunch of space here. All right, so step 1 is to bring in your photograph. Right, so I have my 4x6 here. Depending on what proportions your photograph is, you may have to crop it a little bit, or it may not fit in there completely, but we want to fill that space. Before you bring it into Photoshop, you can also use Lightroom, which might be, I might suggest to you, is to use your Lightroom app, and then you can jazz up your picture a little bit first before you. Let's see if it'll, it's going to take me forever to find it. But if you want to add to your picture, you want to highlight it, you want to change it around so it looks a little bit better, you can certainly do that. Here's all my pictures. Let me see if I can quickly find that picture here. Sorry, it's loading my pictures in here. It's just taking a while. There they go. There we go, there we go, there we go. All right, so let's take, I'm going to take this one. Right, so again, in Lightroom, I'm going to straighten my picture out here. I'm going to crop it a little bit. And actually, can I do, is there a 4x6 in here? There is not. Shoot, all right. I'm going to do 7x5 because that's going to be pretty close. So I'm going to crop this down to what I want for my picture here, like that. I don't even know if I want that much floor in there. So I can mess around with that, but that's what I'm going to do for my cropping. I'm going to use my adjustments here that I have. Right, I'm going to adjust for light and exposure. Brighten it up a little bit. I'm going to mess with my contrast. Those highlights to turn down a little bit. Bring some detail in the shadows. Adjust my black point, my white point here. That looks pretty good. All right, so color. Again, depending on what your white balance is, you can see how yellow that hallway is, right? I'm going to bring my white balance down here a little bit, just like so. So I've adjusted that color a little bit. Tinting and shading is pretty good. And I'm going to actually turn down the vibrance a little bit, but I'm going to saturate the whole thing just a little bit. So I'm liking that a little bit better. I'm going to click on the detail button here. Let's see what our sharpening does here. Just want to add some detail in there. Awesome. I wish the stairs look level, but the floor doesn't look very level, but I guess that's going to be okay. I wonder if, let me go to my cropping again here. Well, I'm going to leave it like this, and then maybe I'll crop it more on the photograph itself. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to push my up button. I'm going to say save to camera roll. Just like so. I'm going to say maximum available, like so. So let's see if I can find that picture. Famous last words. All right, so now I'm back in Photoshop. Remember, this list here on the left goes up and down. I'm going to hit the building. I'm going to say Photos. Here's my adjusted one. Where are you, picture? Photos.
Mr. Horvath, I have a question.
Yeah, go for it, please.
So I wasn't here last class period, so I was just kind of trying to work things out in my head. But the
No
picture
problem.
that's the background, it can be like of anything, or does it have to be of a like specific?
No, it can be anything that you feel like relates to your it relates to your phrase,
Okay, all right.
right? Now that's a great question, and right now I'm not quite sure why my. Let me see if I can bring this one in. Why my photo is not coming in? Hang on, let me quit Photoshop. I'm going to quit Lightroom, and let's see if I can get this thing to load here. We may be going nowhere. There we go. All right, let me make this smaller here. Let me go to my picture, photos. There we go. Yeah, that's just weird. All right, so you can see here there's some white space on either side of that image. So I'm going to just slightly increase the size of my postcard so that it fits. I also like that better because I did want to get rid of that red at the bottom like that, maybe. I mean, I kind of like that red, but it's not straight. Let me see if I can. Yeah, it's getting there. There we go, like so. So I'm going to say done. You know, I could have done some cleaning of this too, like the stairs are sort of filthy there. So here's my basic background of my postcard. Now, again, when you're taking your photograph, you want to think about where were my words going to go, right? Because you have to think about that positive and negative space relationship. So when you are taking a photograph, normally you wouldn't, but in this case, you might intentionally leave some negative space thinking about, well, that's where my words are going to go. So here, to put words on here, is I'm going to go to my layers menu so I can see. You can see here I made a layer with a picture posted on top of there. I am going to hit the T for text button here, right? And then I'm going to start to put my text here. And my phrase was, you are going to make it, right? So you can see here already how I push that text button and then I push my whole screen up, how annoying that is. So I can't even see, like I can use 2 fingers and I can start to move this down here, but it just eats up all the space in here. So I'm going to say, you are going. I'm going to put this on one level right here. And I'm going to say done for now. I can use my moving tool here and I can move the text around like this. And then I'm going to put another line of text here because I want to make it slightly different. I'm going to say you are going, and I'm going to say to make it. And again, I can hide this over here. I can shrink this down here. I can use my moving tool. And I'm going to put it over here. All right, so that's the basics of, and here I have to select my layer here, so I have to make sure I'm on the right layer when I'm moving it around. That's the basics of how to put that text onto your postcards. Very easy. Like technically, it's super easy. Now, the hard part is design. Like I know I can even see here on our screen, you can't even see those words. Like they're almost impossible to see. So a couple of choices you have. First of all, you click on the actual text layer. So I'm going to click on you are going, because that's my first one here. I can click on these the 3 lines with the 3 bubbles here. And this is going to give me some information about my text. Right? So first of all, I can select the font that I want to use here. Right? So if I want to use this, it'll give you a little preview. That's not too bad. Noteworthy there, right? Sort of generic. Menlo, not a big fan of that one. So you can just sort of look and see what is available here. If you're having a hard time seeing that text, down here, I can click on where it says color, and I can make this text brighter, right? So that I can see it, or I can make it a different color. I can use this eyedropper, and I can actually sample a color from my picture. How about that? It's pretty cool, right? So again, if I click on color, I hold this eyedropper, you can see all the way it just changed. Like that. I can select a nice red color here or something. And it changes the color of that. So you are going. And then down here, I'm going to say make it. I'm going to change this. I don't even remember which one I used. Oh, did I use that pink thing? I think I used this one. Or I could use. Oh, that's not too bad. I'll try to find something different. So you sort of get the idea. So I can change my text here. I can change the size of it. So if I want to make it bigger, I can make it larger down here. Let me change my color of this one too so I can see it. This one I'm going to make it more white, I think. There we go. So like that. So again, like, thinking about design-wise, I want to separate my two phrases by two different colors. All right. So you are going to make it. I put an exclamation point or whatever I want in there. I can capitalize something to emphasize it. So like for you are going, if I want to do that, oops. I can, rats, this is what I'm talking about, gang. It's a total headache here. I just double tap, I use the T tool and I double tap here, and I can select hang on. So much, there we go. It takes a little bit of finesse. So let's do all caps here. And then I'm going to say done. And I'm going to say to make it. Again, I'm going to double tap on that. I'm going to select the make part. And I'm going to make that all caps like this. And say done. Let's bring this down here. You are going to make it. And that font I don't really care for, but it'll do okay. What is that? Grantha saying, let's see, you are going. Let me find that in here. Going to make it. All right, so, oops, sorry, this thing is glitching out today. I'm not sure what the deal is. Done. I don't want that layer. Can I delete this layer? Delete layer. All right, so you're going to make it. So this is sort of the basics of what you want to accomplish here. So now some of this is kind of fun because if you want to change, why is this not giving me my text here? It's so bizarre. Huh. Is you can do, like tracking will spread the words out here a little bit. So see the way I can crunch them together or I can move them apart. So that's sort of a handy thing to note if you need to change the kerning and this is the leading here. You can change that of your letters. You can also, this baseline shift helps you to move them off of the line of the actual line that you've typed on, but you don't want to do that too much. Horizontal scale, all that sort of stuff in there. Blending options, if you want to make it a little less noticeable, you can absolutely turn down your opacity a little bit, and that will also help to create a little bit of emphasis on your secondary word. So you are going to make it. Now, something fun is if you look through this list, one thing I don't like about this, well, one thing. Another thing I don't like about this iPad is when you click on this font list here, on the computer, it'll give you a preview of the font looking at the words that you're looking at here. But unfortunately, all these words are the same typeface, so they're hard to tell which is which. But you can go to, if you have downloaded, let's go to here, this Creative Cloud app. Check this out. How fun is this? Part of your package here is if you go to your Creative Cloud account like this, and at the bottom it says Fonts, and I click on this Fonts button down here at the bottom. See where it says that down there in blue? I can browse all these fonts in here, and these are fonts that you can load into your iPad. Right, so if I liked, where's that Quick Brown Fox one here I just had? I mean, there's so many, it takes you forever to get through here. But you can look at all these different fonts in here. So I'm going to write these down because if I, what do you call it? I can't remember. Here's installed fonts. This will tell me what I put in here. Oh, there it is. This is called HVD Steinzeit. And again, I'm literally just writing this down on a piece of paper so I can remember which ones I downloaded that I liked. This one's kind of fun. This Chauncey Pro looks sort of like handwritten. So you just browse and browse. Let's do this one. So I say View Family, and then I just hit the plus over here, and it's going to add it to my Photoshop. There you go. It says Install Fonts. I say Install. There we go. And this one's called, what did I say? This is called Westsat. Westsat. So now if I go back here to Photoshop, and I'm going to close that window here. I'm going to say you are going, I don't know why that's all freaking out on me there. I'm going to say to make it, I'm going to look here, and I'm going to look for, here it is right here. So that's the one I just looked for. Or let's look for that Westsat in here. I'm looking. Westsat. There it is, Westsat. There we go. So that's kind of a fun one, right? Sort of goofy looking. So let me see if I can get that for my You Are Going as well. Yeah, something is wrong with You Are Going because it's not changing and it's not sticking, and I don't know what the problem is. I'm gonna jump out and I'm gonna jump back in and see if it'll let me fix it. Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is here. All right, so does anybody have any questions about that so far at all? Pretty straight ahead. I think the hardest part is going to be trying to figure out. I totally want that text to change. Why are you not changing? Well, I'm gonna dump that layer. It's not going to define me as an individual. I'm going to take my T and I'm going to rewrite it here. T. You are going. There we go. Take that, computer. I will not be. That's all. Yeah, I don't like the way that Y is down there, but it'll be all right. So there you go. All right.